Welcome back.
Okay, my boy.
Ishkayach. Wow. Sein gesund und stark. Barichus Yomim, Shonim Toivis.
Amen.
We're going to do a Sicha that we're going to do this week. It's a Gishmak a Sicha from Shoftim and Likkutei. If you could pass to... I'll start off with the story. I was just with my children on a road trip. The last week was the 80th Yortzeit of Shmuel Salanta. Shmuel Salanta lived in a tiny house near the Churba, the Churba Shul, which is in Yerushalayim Atika.
It's not a churba anymore.
It's not a Churba anymore.
It's
It's a beautiful building now.
I have to rename it.
And they have to rename it. They saw Reb Shmuel schlepping out of his house. He was a very old man. He was frail. He was with a walking stick, just about taking one step at a time. They said, Rebbe, where are you going? He said, one of the new shchunot outside Yerushalayim, I'm going to be Masada Kiddushin. They said, Rebbe, you have to be Masada Kiddushin. There's no Rabbonim besides you that could be Masada Kiddushin. I promised the boy's grandfather. So he said there was a story, there was a Yid of Etuvia, he lived in Lomje, a city in Lita, Lomje. I remember when I was sitting on the Bezdin in Melbourne, I was learning Shimush culture. One of the Dayonim he was a Rav in Lomje. He learned in the Lomje Yeshiva. Emes Alitvis Yid, Geret Ve'alit Piris Demai, gesagt Psat. I say in Psat, and I remember always used to say, so if you had to clean a comments bad, he was a little bad, very and he said, the one thing I miss is the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Lubavitcher Rebbe had a clear vision for everything in this world. Everything Lubavitcher Rebbe was clear. We need the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Anyway, I remember you said he was a child, and I remember that Meir Shapiro came to the Lomje Yeshiva, and he introduced his novel idea, Daf HaYomi.
It's 100 years away.
Yeah.
Did this story happen in Yerushalayim?
No, yeah, I'm going back. I just said as a Lomje was a Choshev City, Litische Shtetl from Yidden, B'nai Torah, and there was a Gvir, one of the big Gvirim in Lomje was a Machnas Oirech, his name was Reb David Tuvia. Everything was good for Reb David Tuvia, business was good, and everything was good in Shalom Bayis. The problem was no children. So Reb David Tuvia and his wife decided that they're going to sell all of their nechosim, everything. And they're going to go up to Eretz Yisrael. They live in Yerushalayim. Maybe in that school state, but still give them a child. It wasn't easy to travel those days. But those days, nowadays, Eretz Yisrael is Nikna B'Yizurim. Took them 3 months, 4 months travel. And there were many dangers in the way. But they were committed to go to Eretz Yisrael. They came to Yerushalayim, bought themselves a little apartment, and they lived in Yerushalayim. But unfortunately, they had no children, and 10 years went by, and they had no children. And they decided they're going to get divorced. Maybe each one is going to marry to someone else, and they'll have Muslim. And Reb David Tuvia,
It's according to the din, you have
Yeah.
to divorce after 10 years.
yeah, Reb David Tuvia shows up in the Bezdin. Kennst du das? Das ist sehr gut. Das ist nicht kein, das ist sehr gute Sache. You know, my grandmother used to say, the koyach gefindt man in Schüssel. It's an old Yiddish saying. I think today in America, they don't think it's true. They think the koyach gefindt man in gin. But I'm not Yiddish about it gesagt, the koyach gefindt man in Schüssel. You know, they said they're going to have a boat, the Jewish they're going to, one of the big Navy boats are going to name for the Jewish mother. So they're going to call it SS My Kind. So, so back to the story. Rav David Tuvia comes to the Bezdin, and little does he know that there's a new Dayan, there's a new Rav in Yerushalayim. Eichet Alitva Sheyid. Rav Shmuel Salanter was a very young man, and he was crowned as the Rav in Yerushalayim. And this was one of the first things that came to him. He comes to his Bezdin, and he says he wants to get divorced. He's married already for many years, and that it's a soul itself 10 years, and they have no children. Like Shmuel felt it was wrong. Saw that it's such a beautiful couple. He said, let me ask you something. Is it a rush? He said, it's not a rush. He said, okay, so you know what? I'm very busy right now. If you don't mind, come back in 3 weeks. Okay, sure. 3 weeks go by, 6 weeks go by, 6 months go by. Guy shows up 6 months later. Said Shmuel, who remembered, said, what's a geshem? I told you 3 weeks. Well, it's 6 months. He said, we came back home. My wife got sick. Well, my mother divorced her while she's sick. So I took care of her. Now she's Baruch Hashem, back on her feet. Shmuel says to him, you know, I heard that there was a Yosem draying around in one of the Shchonot Yerushalayim. His name was Label. And I heard that you and your wife took him into the house. What's going to happen? You're going to get divorced and the kid is going to be again in the streets? No, that's a Shalom Rebbe. I give you my word that I am forever going to take care of this child. Shmuel couldn't believe it. Such a nice person. He said, you know what? Forget about it. Don't get divorced. Within a year, you'll have a child. So he left. And before the year was up, he had a baby boy. He asked Reb Shmuel to be the sandik by the bris. He was so happy, married for years and years. All they wanted was a child, Achasharalti. Finally, they had a child. And at the bris, he was so happy, the father. He couldn't get over his happiness. And he asked Reb Shmuel, would you do me a favor and guarantee me that my son will grow up, you'll be Masada Kiddush, just like you were the son? And Shmuel said, yes, Emetz Hashem. Also for my grandson, for his son. So Shmuel says, oh, mate, I should live so long. So Shmuel said, now, and if Tuvi's grandson is getting married, and I want to keep my word to his grandfather, therefore I'm going to be Masada Kiddushin. A beautiful story. He was nifta 80 years ago, last Shabbos. So, we're talking about Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter gave Kol Yisrael. We gave us such beautiful leaders. And, it's like it's a different thing. I'm going with my kids now on a road trip. We always go in a different state. We explore another state in the United States. And we did Virginia now. Virginia, we went to see... No, Virginia. So we went to see my friend George. My friend George who lives in Mount Vernon.
Oh, yeah.
George Washington. Yeah. See, I even posed with him in a picture, and you see.
No, but that's in Washington, no?
No, it's in Virginia.
But his achuza is in
West Virginia.
State.
You see, we're holding hands together.
Isn't his estate in Washington? His
No.
with somebody else.
It's a joke. Nothing.
Where was that station? Inside his house?
Outside his house, right outside his house.
Oh, still some.
Yeah. It's not so opulent. I see more humility than opulence in his house. He's a good businessman. He ran a good business, and
He was one of the wealthiest people in America at the time.
right. He was a wealthy man, and but still.
Yeah, I was there with Gedalia.
Yeah,
There's the slave quarter.
Yeah.
It's a joke. If you go to all the
Thank you.
hotels, it was George Washington slept there, George Washington slept there, George Washington. That's when he's the father of our country. They have the movement from back in the day and the different. When I had a pharmacy in Crown Heights, I actually had a patient. His name was George Washington Schweitzer. And I guess he was in line. I would put a sign out that says George Washington fills in prescriptions.
Anyway, Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter gave us tzaddikim and manhigim and nevi'im. Baruch Shebocha Bahem. So this week's parsha is all about the leadership of the Jewish people through nevi'im. Parsha Shoftim is all about leadership, obviously. I'm doing on last week's parsha because I wasn't here last week. And there's a Geschmack Sicha, a Shvu Sicha from the Rebbe about the Inyan of a Navi, and it's based on Perek Ches and Perek Tes and the Rambam Hilchos Yesodei Torah. Let's read through quickly, and then we'll go into the Rebbe Sicha. Here, if you'd like a copy. Moshe Rabbeinu lo yeminu bo Yisrael mepnei ha'oises she'asa. Shamanu al pi ha'oises yesh b'libei doifi she'efsha she'asa ha'ois belot v'chishuv. Maybe there's a trick in the ois. And l'kol ha'oises she'asa Moshe b'midbar l'fi ha'tzorech hasam lo lahavi raya ala nevuah. Then the oises was not as a raya for his nevuah. Hoye tzorech lashkiya sametzeim koretz hayom b'tzlul l'metoiche. Tzarachna l'mazon ha'iri lana amon. Samu bakla masaven cover by the school koirach bolos and audits in shorkalois vamai minu bait. What was the emunah? What proved to the Eden that Moshe is an Navi? V'may medar sinei she'inenu rov al'izor v'zenu shama v'layacher ha'ish v'akrolos v'lapitim v'unika shel ha'rof v'krom v'taberelov v'on shemri Moshe lechamer lam kach v'kach. V'cheinu oim eponim divrei Hashem imach. That the Eibishter was talking to Moshe Rabbeinu Har Sinai. So the Yidden saw that the Rebbeinu Shalom picked Moshe Rabbeinu as a Navi. And then ki lo yesavesechem korasum sabris azois menai shemamid Har Sinai lavadi arayed lenevos Hashem Hashem badoifi. How do we know that that's true? Well, the Rambam was saying that Ma'amad Har Sinai is the raya for Moshe Rabbeinu being a Navi. It says in the pasuk, "Hine anoichi bo'alecha ba'ava onan, b'vur yishma'am b'daber imach, v'gam b'choy yamin al-oilam." Nachlal shekodem David ze lo yabinu nemonos she'yeh medis l'oilam, ela nemonos she'yesh achara hiru u'machshava. Eibishter told him that when he met Eibishter for the first time by the sneh, the Eibishter said, "Hineni bo'alecha ba'ava onan," that you're going to come back to this mountain, and I'm going to reveal myself to you ba'ava onan, b'avur yishma'am b'daber imach. Then the people will hear that I'm talking to you. Now they will believe in you. In other words, before that, they believed in Moshe Rabbeinu, but not on the known also. Yeah. Ikum sikum sa emuna. Now it's emuna she'ein achara hiru machshav. Nimtza elu shesholach lamem edim alavasa sho'emes ve'entzar alas lamois acher. Shuhu v'hem v'kashnei edem b'dav v'kashnei edem shelo daverecha b'yachif shkol achem an ed l'chaveri shu emer emes v'enechem amtzar l'verei l'chaveri kech Moshe v'kol yisrael edem loy l'achar ma'im d'asinem entzar l'as l'mois v'zeh shomer l'kadosh baruch hu b'tchilas nevos v'shanas l'ois l'setzim v'tzayim v'amar loy v'shomer l'kelecha yod Moshe Rabbeinu shamam en api oises shesh b'lvav v'doifu m'har v'machashe v'nishmat mileilach v'amar v'hen lo yaminu li עד שהדיע הקדוש ברוך הוא שאלה איסס אין אלא עד שעצם מצרים ועד שעצם ויעמד על ההור הזה יסתלק העיר שמהרים מאחריך שנויסן לכו כאן אויס שידעו שאני שלחתיך באמס מתחילה ולא ישר בליבם הירו. Moshe Rabbeinu was mishtamet because he was saying the people will think it's hocus pocus, a lot of hocus. It's not for sure. The Eibishter said that you should know that's true. Hein lo yaminuli. You're right that Amamin al Pia Oisis is not Amam in Gomur, but the Mune v'gam b'cho yaminu le'olam is going to be not from the Oisis. It's going to be from Ma'amad Har Sinai. וזו שכוסף אומר, וזה לך אויס, כי אנכי שלחתיך, ויציאך עשאם במצרים תבנס לקים לאור הזה. That the real ois that אנכי שלחתיך is ההור הזה. נמצא אוימר, כל נביא שם לחמש שהם מבינים בני אויס לבדי. כדי שנם הם יעש אויס נשמע להם בכל השיים. אבל בני המצווה, שציווה מוישה בתוירה ואומר הם נוסם אויס, אלו תשמעו. We don't listen to him because of the ois. We listen to them because Moshe Rabbeinu says in this week's parsha that if a Navi will give a ois, Eilav Tishmon. K'moshe tzivonu lach techadavar al pi shnayim eidim, afa b'sheinu yodim meido emes im sheket, kach mitzvah l'shmoy mezah Navi, afa b'sheinu yodim im ois emes oy b'chishu valot. Just like the Eibishter said, we have to accept when two eidim come. Do we know it's for sure true? But that's what the Eibishter said. If two eidim come, same thing here. If the Navi gives a ois, we have to accept the ois, and we do what he tells us, not because we believe him, because of his ois, because that's what Moshe Rabbeinu tells us in the Torah. The fikach imamad Navi v'asa oises amayvsim gedoyle. Ubikash lahakchish nevasa shamosh Rabbeinu. Ein shemim loy v'aniyonu mebeur sha'oisa oises balot v'kishuv hein. If a Navi comes and makes Oisis Moisim, but he wants to go against Navu's Moshe Rabbeinu, we say for sure that this is hocus pocus. It's a lot in Kishuv. Fisher Navu's Moshe Rabbeinu ain't al pi Oisis Kedei Shenarech Ois Yezeh Lois Yezeh. Moshe Rabbeinu has nothing to do with Oisis. To say, oh, he did bigger Oisis, the other one did smaller Oisis. El Beinenu Re'inu Vaznenu Shamanu, Moshe Shamahu, Alamah Davar Doimel Eidim She'idu Lodam. Although Shirabe Einav, Sheina Kama Shirabe, Sheina Shemela, Malide Bavad, Shemeli Sheker. The Fika Chomra Torah, Shimba, Oizva Moifes, Lo Tishma al Divrei Anaviahu, Sheriza Boy Lecha, Boisa Moifes, Lahakshach Masharisa Beinecha. He's making an ois, but you saw with your eyes that the Eibishter pointed Moshe Rabbeinu, and he wants to go against Moshe Rabbeinu's. Hoil Veinu Mamidim Moifes, Elov Mitzvah Shetzivo. שציוונו מוישה, איך נקבל מאוי זה שבו להכחש נבוזה של מוישה, ששרינו וששמענו. Why do we believe? We don't believe in a Navi because of the ois, because Moshe Rabbeinu told us to believe. But he's going against Moshe Rabbeinu. So we can't accept it.
Well, we didn't have any Navi that said Moshe Rabbeinu, is that true?
We had so many Nevi'ah Sheker. Wow.
What they said about Moshe Rabbeinu?
Yoshka Pendrik. Cheese and crackers. Cheese and crackers is being makrish Navuz Moshe Rabbeinu. Two-thirds of the world are following it. And also that Mashiach and Muhammad. The Davar Bar Mefurish Batoyre. Shehi mitzvah oimedes lo'ilum al me'alam. It's clear in the Torah that this is a mitzvah that stands forever. Ein la lo shine v'lo giran v'lo teisefes. Shenemar es kol advorim asher anechem tzapchem b'es tishbar l'asal l'isesaf alov v'lo yisikram imenu. Shenemar v'nik l'sol l'manen adam l'asas kol divrei Torah azoyis. Amati kol divrei Torah mitzvah l'asas adoyel. Chen oelim chuk yitzelem deriseich. V'nemar, it says in the pasuk, loy b'shamaymi. Loy b'shamaymi. Holamadete, you'd like a copy? Here in this page, the front page, the last two lines. The last two lines. V'nemar, it says in the pasuk, Dvarim Lamed Yudbeis, loy b'shamayim. The Torah is not b'shamayim. Alamadeta, sheina novi rashi l'chadash davar me'ato. The novi is not allowed to, doesn't have the right to be mechadash anything. Levikas from Yamid Ishmin, beimi min umas, beimi Yisrael. If a man is going to stand up, doesn't regardless if he's a Jewish or not. The asa ois amoifis, v'yoymar, shashem shalochi, lohoisiv mitzvah, legroy mitzvah. Oi, the guy says, lafarish b'mitzvah, min ha-mitzvah, peidish shaloi shamanu mi-moish. V'sham ois ha-mitzvah, shenestavim Yisrael, eino lo-oilam ala-deire deiris, ala-mitzvah, mizman oyu. That he says that's the mashal cheese and crackers. That's what cheese and crackers said. He said that the mitzvah shenetztavim Yisrael einam ladoiris. It's lefizman oyu, right? That's the basic thing of the people that follow oiso ish. Harei zeh Navi Sheker. Sherei Bola Hakrish Nuvasa Shal Moshe. He's being makrish the Nevu of Moshe. Mitzvah bechenek. Al Shehezek L'Davi V'Shem Hashem Shaloi Tzivo. Shu Baruch Hu Shmoi Tziv L'Moshe. Mitzvah Zeh Lo Nol Vanei L'Adam L'Ish El Yichazav. The Eibusha told us that this is forever. Ad Olam. And the Eibusha doesn't lie. Okay, Lama Nama B'Torah Novi Okim Lama Kereg Acheihem Kamoicha. Why do we need a Navi? If the rules of the Torah is eternal, why do we need a Navi? He doesn't talk, it's true, he doesn't come to make a new religion. He comes to give us warnings to not to be over on the Torah. However, al dvar chaim nisem b'dei shamayim shenem v'yisra shelo yishmal divrei hanavi she'yidap shvein chedesh shvein. Yeah, that's all in Parshat Mishpat. V'chein. So a Navi is not come to make chidushim in Torah, to warn the Eden to keep the Torah, the mitzvahs, and also to tell them b'divrei shus, go here, go there, build, don't build, make war, make peace. V'chein Navi shavar al divrei atzmai. והכיף שעשו חייב מצווה בני שמיים, שלוש נאמר ונך עדר שמימי. וכן אם יאמר לנו הנביא שלא ידע לנו שונה ולהבה אחס מכל מצווה אמור בתורה, מצווה עשי בין קלס בין חמורס לביא שום מצווה לשמוע אלוהי. וכך למד בחומר ראשונים להשמוע, כל שיאמר לך נביא עבור על דברי תורה כליו בהר הכרמל, שמע אלוהי, חוץ מעבודס כחובת. הוא שידוע לפי שום, כגון על יו בהר הכרמל שיקרב אלוהי בחוץ וישלם נבחרס לקח ומקר בחוץ חייב קורס. Nation of him, it's Lishmarla, began as an Emmer, Hail of Tishmon. He was sure to the Yov, Amr, Eich Nakr, Mashkos of Betoy, Pentalo, the Secha, Lachala Mokim. Hoy Omer, Loin Emmer, Ela Makr, Bachutz Loilam, Chayv Kores, Commission, Sivim Mosh. Alani Akrev him, Bachutz Bedvar Hashem, Ktel Hakish, Nevi, Baal. Al Derech Zeh, Im Tzivu Kol Nevim Laver, Lefisho, Mitzvah Lishmarla, Vim Amr, Shadov and Neker, Loilam, Misase Bechenek. שהתורה אמרה לא נלבננו עד היום. לכן אם עוקר דובר מדבורים שלמדנו מהשבוע שאמר בדין מדיני השם שהשם ציוו שהדין כך הוא כלוף כדברי פלייני, הרי זה נובי שקר, יחונק. ואבי שעושה אוי שריבו להכחש התורה, over here he's being מכחש the Torah. He's being מכחש התורה שאמרה לו בשמיימי, אבל לפי שושם לבקר. באמת דברים אמרו משאר מצווה, אבל עץ כחוב משם להפעיל לבישה. אפילו עושה עשר מפסן גדול, אבל משם שצבא שתעבד, אבל עץ כחוב ליום בלבד, שזו מלבד, איזה דיבר סורה על השם, על זה ציווה הכוסף, ואומר בו, איזה המואפס לא תשמע דבר הנבא יהוא, כדיבר סורה על השם על הכיכם, שניבו זה הכחש נבוסה של מוישה, לפי כך נדע בבד, שנבא שקר, כל מה שעושה בלוט וקישב עושה ויחד. Okay, I'm sorry, time is short, we get it. So this is the Pedic Ches and Tes, and Hilchos Yisoid Torah. Like the name says, it's Yisoid Torah. This is the Yisoid of Torah.
The mitzvahs that we don't do because this English is not around.
What can we do?
No, so we canceled the mitzvah.
We didn't say it's canceled. We said we can't do it. We're waiting. We're chalashing. Einam Yecholim lasses kemitzvahs siritzenecha. We're chalashing to do it. We're not saying it's bottled. I'm saying we're chalashing, we want to do it. Okay. The Rebbe asks like this. Understand that the Eibusha says that the Rambam says that we're listening to Moshe Rabbeinu because that's what the Eibusha said. So it's like, it's not just Nevuah, it's what the Eibusha said. It's a Torah. Similar to what we said, the Rambam says that we're not doing mitzvahs today because the Eibusha told Nevi'im before. We don't do a mitzvah milah because the Eibusha told Avram Avinu. We do mitzvah milah because that's what the Torah says to do. And the Torah tells us that the Eibusha also told it to Avram Avinu. And the reason we do mitzvah milah is not because the Eibusha told it to Avram Avinu. The Eibusha tells us in the Torah. Okay, very nice. Fragt the Shaila a few things over here. Number one, in the end of Pedic Ches, the Rambam says if a Navi comes to deny Mivasa Shal Moshe, They shouldn't listen to him. The Rambam could say Bekitzer shouldn't listen to him because the Torah says not to listen. The Rambam gives a whole arichus. The Rambam says it's like a person is going to give you witness against what you saw. Are you going to believe him? You saw with your eyes something. He's going to tell you, no, Moshe Kapoyer. It's the other way around. You're not going to believe him. It doesn't matter that he told you. But you saw the other way around. Why is the Rambam telling me all this? It's not safe for more than a Vuchin. The Rambam just tells Halacha. The Rambam says very short. If a Navi comes and does Isis and goes against the Moshe Shemashinu, we shouldn't listen. We know it's Baba Mises because the Torah says, Lo tishmal divrei Naviyahu. Give you a whole arichas. Then, what's the main question that's bothering the Rebbe over here is that in sometimes, for example, in Perek Tes, in the Aloch Aleph, when he says that Torah l'b'shamayim. So if a person is going to stand up and make a miracle and say that the Eibishter told him to add a mitzvah, subtract a mitzvah, zanovi sheker. Why? Shereza bala hakchish nevuose shel Moshe. So he's going to go against the nevu of Moshe Rabbeinu. Later in the Pedic, we say that im okadova medvarim shelamadnu mipi hashmua. So he's a novi sheker. Why? Shereza bala hakchish hatoyre.
What the Prince is talking about? The light?
What is this?
It's from the refrigerator.
Huh?
Refrigerator filter. It's a filter of the light. No. Take it out.
Take it out, no problem. Thank you, Moshe. Why is it in the beginning of the Pedic, the Rambam says that if a person is moisef a mitzvah, takes away a mitzvah, is makrish navus Moshe, and then if a okar davar medvonu shalom mashmua is makrish Torah. Why over here does he say is makrish navu, and over here he says is makrish the Torah? Why? That's a poshta kasha.
What does it mean, makrish the Torah? What does that mean?
Goes against the Torah.
Okay.
Denies the Torah.
So what is the Rebbe saying? We already know that.
Right. So why is it in the beginning of Perek Tes, he says when a person says that Hashem said they should add or subtract a mitzvah, he's going against Moshe. And then the Perek, when he says that if he says that the Eibishter told him this or this, he's a Novi Sheker, he's makrish the Torah. Why over here does he say he's makrish? He's denying Moshe, and over here it says he's denying the Torah. Rebbe says, B'doichik, you would be able to answer. It says in the Sifri, B'diberei Leim, that the Sifri says, Shaloi lohoishiv es ha-turgman. A Novi is not allowed to have a turgman. What's a turgman? Translate. The olden days, when they read the Torah, they would read, and then they would read the Torah and the Metargim. One person read the Torah, and the
Yemenite has Targum Onkelos right now today.
yeah, it was a Metargim.
Yemenites do that.
There was a Tirgum. A Chochem is allowed to have a Tirgum, but a Novi is not allowed to have a Turgum because
What does that mean, Tirgum?
The Nevuah directly from the Novi.
Uh-huh.
If they didn't hear it directly from the Novi, and the Oiver on his words, that's not called Oiver on Divrei Novi. The Rogatchover says a Chidush that if the Novi himself, he says a Nevuah, and tomorrow he repeats the Nevuah that he said yesterday. If a man was there on Sunday and he goes against the Novi, then he's going against the Novi, Chayv Misa. But the man that was there Monday was not there Sunday, that's nothing. Like the story that Tzemach Tzedek, the Bilal Paritcher, and the other Chassidim were doing the Chazorah on the Maimed. And the Bilal Paritcher said that the Pshat in the Maimed is this. And all the Chazim said, no, the Pshat in the Maimed is the other way. They had Machloikis, they couldn't get Soifa Inyan. And it was negated to understand what's the Maimed. Does it mean like this or it means like that? So they decided they're going to go to the Rebbe that's Tzemach Tzedek. And they'll ask the Rebbe, what's the Pshat in the Maimed? Well, asked the Rebbe, what's the pshat in the Maimon? So they came to the Tzemach Tzedek, and both sides said their thing. The Hillel said his pshat, and they said their pshat. No, what do you think the Tzemach Tzedek said?
You're both right.
No, he said they were right, he was wrong. When they left, they said, you see, we told you. He said, told me nothing. Someone said it is wrong. The pshat is like me. So they said, what do you mean? We just asked the pshat. Didn't you hear it? He said, that Tzemach Tzedek said, that we learned it right and you learned it wrong. He said, okay, so the Tzemach Tzedek said. But when he said the Maimer, the Eibishter's words were rolling off his tongue. Now the Shaila is what the pshat? I think I have the right pshat. I'm not changing my mind. So this is like the Rogatchover's word. When the Navi is saying an Avua, right now he's saying an Avua. If tomorrow, and if someone listens, hears the words and doesn't listen, it's being over on the words of a Navi. If tomorrow he tells over what he said yesterday, okay, it's nice, he's telling over. But now, if someone's not listening to him, he's not being over on Divrei Navi. So the Rebbe says, could be in the beginning of the Perek that I was talking about, let's say, by Maimon Har Sinai, when Moshe Rabbeinu was talking, and the people were hearing Shas, he was mamish saying. So he was talking about so if a person doesn't listen, so he's over on not only what the Torah says, he's over on the Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu because he was there and he heard it. And later in the Perek is talking about other mitzvahs. It's a little bit of a doichik that ever says. It's a funny pshat. It's cute. It's a funny pshat. So the Rebbe says like this. Pshat is like this. We know that the Rambam said that the mitzvah can never be changed, and it's one of the 13 principles in faith. So the Rabbi Yosef Albo in Sefer Eikim says, why? Even if it's true that a mitzvah is never going to be changed, but why is that a principle in faith? The Eibishter said to Adam Rishon, not allowed to eat meat. Then the Eibishter said, you know what? We'll change the rules. Human beings could eat meat. So is meat a good thing or a bad thing? Depends. While the Eibishter said it's also to eat meat, it was a bad thing. Now the Eibishter says you're allowed to eat meat, it's a good thing. Right? So theoretically, rules change. What's this filter thing? What's the pshat of a filter? Huh?
Take the filter out,
Yeah.
wash a little bit, stick it back.
Who needs a filter? What's a filter?
It out and it's still be. I know, so like. Really great. Put it back.
Thank you, Moshe. And I'll let you use the service of a Kohen.
Cool.
He's feeling great. So, Rabbi Yosef Alba says, I don't understand. Why can't theoretically a mitzvah change? The Eibishter will say, when Mashiach will come, you know what, the world is, right now, the rules could change a little bit. Why can't the rules change a little bit? Why can't the rules change a little bit? And even if they're not going to change, why is it a principle? The Rebbe says, because there's two types of ritzonos. So it says there's a rotzen and rotzen atzmi. If a person wants to go from here to Connecticut to do business, and he wants to ship stuff from here to the Caribbean, and he wants the money to be moved to the bank, the Chase Bank here on the corner, or to Capital One, and then he wants this and he wants that. And then whatever, it could change. Maybe he wants, he doesn't want. Today he wants, tomorrow he doesn't want. Person wants to live. That's for a normal person, that's a rotzna atzmi. He wants to live, no matter what. There is a rotzen to get to something else. The Gemara says that Anoichi Hashem Elokecha, Anoichi is Rosh Tovis, Anon Nafshi Ksavas Yehavis. The Eibishter says Nafshi. My nefesh is in the Torah. If we say, a person can say, what's the Eibishter? The Eibishter is the super powerful. The Eibishter is around in order to create the world. Can you say that? It's true, the Eibishter made the world, but could you say why is the Eibishter in order to create the world? That would be stupid. to say that the Eibishter is Hamtzoi for something else. The Eibishter is Be'etzem. The Eibishter also decided to create the world. So just like the Eibishter is Be'etzem, and the Eibishter decided to create a world. Torah is a non-nafshik sovas Yehovas. Torah is a rotzen atzmich, so this says of the Eibishter. It's not l'tzarav v'masabriyas. It's true that when he does mitzvahs, he becomes a better human being. Mamlech is koinem v'koi kodesh. They get scar. But it's not. That's not the real thing of the mitzvah. The real thing of a mitzvah is not to make me a better person, to make me malach es koinem, to give me scar. Mitzvah is because that's the rotzen of the atzmi of the Eibishter. The tzoyne atzmi, not for anything else. That's why the mitzvahs can't change. Just like the Eibishter can't change, the mitzvahs can't change. Just like the Eibishter is eternal, the mitzvahs is eternal. If a person thinks that a mitzvah is going to change, so either he doesn't realize what a mitzvah is, or he doesn't realize what an Eibishter is. The mitzvahs to Adam Rishon, they were not real mitzvahs. They were not mitzvahs. Good to eat meat, bad to eat meat. The mitzvahs that we're doing is rotzna atzmi of the Eibishter. Therefore, they can't change. Understand? They can't change. So rotzna atzmi of the Eibishter.
What we say when Mashiach will come, he will change mitzvahs. When Mashiach will come, he will change him. He will make stuff that not kosher.
They were direction, what to do in life, and not
Suggestions.
not suggestions. Just like tzaddik, the Alter Rebbe says, first Perek at Tanya, that the tzaddik the Shem HaMushal and the tzaddik be'etza. It was a command, but it was not the same mitzvah like the mitzvahs after Matan Torah. Yeah, I hear Shmulik asking what's with this thing about Chazer also lachzlam Yisrael.
Right. It's a mitzvah that's going to change.
But Lapoil, that's a mitzvahs is eternal. It's rotzna atzmi be'ebishter. That's the mile of mitzvahs. On the other hand, because because it's so big, we say a human being can't be toy for such a thing. Therefore, there's the mile of nevuah. Nevuah is that the Eibishter reveals himself to a human being. So there's Torah and there's nevuah. Nevuah is when Eibishter reveals himself to a human being. Moshe Rabbeinu was a human being, flesh and blood. People could relate to him. Moshe Rabbeinu also bought Mahadran ice cream for $6.99 a quart. Yeah. You know, Moshe Rabbeinu also had for Shabbos, his wife would send him to buy a few bottles of seltzer. And so there is the same Torah, the way it's mitzad the Eibishter. The Eibishter wants that they each be able to relate to Torah on the level of nevuah. So there is every mitzvah. We do the mitzvah because the Eibishter said it's in the Torah, and it's nevuah's Moshe Rabbeinu.
I lost it from the. I unplugged the fridge off the shirt.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Probably no.
That's why there's a mila in each one. There's a mila in the way the mitzvahs are mitzad the Torah. There's a mila the way the mitzvahs is mitzad the nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu. Mitzad the nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu, there's all the mitzvahs has both things in it. It's the nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu and it's Torah. But nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu is close to us. We can relate to it, right? If you got $1 from the Rebbe, the Rebbe was a human being, right? His shoes had a size. Whatever they were 10.5. His hat came from Italy, from a company, Borsellino, yeah. This guy bankrupt, yeah. So there is the Torah the way it is, and the way it comes down as a nevuah. And in that nevuah, it has to be, the Eibishter wants that it should be clear to the Yid. It should be a munah she'ein ba doifi. It should be a munah shleima. If someone go against the Torah, the way it's nevuah Moshe Rabbeinu, he should know that I saw Moshe Rabbeinu, I saw with my eyes, by my that I've seen that the Eibishter pointed him a Navi. I saw, you can't deny something that I saw my eyes. You can't deny it. Therefore, the Rambam says this both things. The beginning of the Perek, he's talking about if a person is Yamed Ish, a person stands up, Bemi in Umas, Bemi Yisrael, the Asa Oisam Oifus, it's the last line of the first page, V'emer, Shashem Shlochi L'Hoisav Mitzvah, L'Groyev Mitzvah, L'Farja Mitzvah, Pirish L'Shamanam Moshe, Hareze Novi Sheker, Shareze Bo L'Hakchish Navasa Shal Moshe. It's not only goes against the Torah, he's going against Navasa Shal Moshe. But at the end of the Perek, when he's saying, Shashem Tzibalo Shadin Kach, V'alocha Kedivri Ploini, he didn't go against the Torah. He didn't say, Moshe Rabbeinu said there should be 4 parshas. I say there should be 5 parshas or 3 parshas in the film. No, he's not doing that. He's saying the Gemara has a machlokes between Abaye and Rava. We say the halacha is always like Rava. Besides, 7 times the halacha is like Abaye, B'yalka Gam. He says, you know what? I'm sorry, it's the other way around. I figured out the halacha is always like Abaye. Only 7 times the halacha is like Rava. Moshe Kapoyer, the other way around. He's not denying Nevuas Moshe Rabbeinu over here. He's doing nothing to deny Nevuas Moshe Rabbeinu. But he's being makrish the Torah. So in summary, there's something unique where he's saying a person is makrish the Torah. But the Eibishter wanted that the Torah should be so real to us, not only mitzad Ma'amad Arsina, but also as a nevuah for Moshe Rabbeinu. Because he's a flesh and blood, he's another human being that we could relate to. And it should be a reality. It should be not only that elikus, when we see a tzaddik, not only likus becomes real to us, you see videos of tzaddikim, you see a video of the Rebbe. Not only elikus becomes real to us, but the Torah becomes real to us. So therefore, everything in the Torah, every mitzvah in the Torah is Torah. It's Torah Hashem, Tzivi Hashem, and it's also Nevuos Shal Moshe Rabbeinu. Yet in Perek Tes, if the person says we're going to have 3 pairs of 3 parshas in the Tefillin or 5, so he's going against the Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu. If he says the halacha is like Abaye, not like Rav, he's not going against Moshe Rabbeinu. But still, he's being makrish the Torah. Okay, so we'll leave it at this. Like I said, Baruch Shabbat B'Hem B'Nishmosam B'Mishnasam, that we're so fortunate to have tzaddikim and avim, the leaders that the Eibishter gave to Klal Yisrael. We're fortunate that when we look at the ways of the tzaddikim, not only do we see godliness, we see Torah. Not only the Eibishter becomes true and alive, the Torah becomes a true and alive. Chaim l'chaim.
The Torah tells us if somebody's sick, listen to a doctor.
What?
The Torah tells us if somebody's sick, listen to a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time, just pregnant women.
Well, the Torah case, no, sorry.
And at the same time, pregnant women had a complication, and the doctor say you must take the baby out. And the Rebbe says no, don't take the baby out, and they have a healthy baby.
Right. Emes. Sehr gut. Ist gut gesagt. Okay, Ishkoyach, everyone that joined us. This is an Israelim that joined us tonight on the Zoom. Hagroisni Ishkoyach for joining us. And Rabbi Grunwald, der Schwieger ist Nasach Nachricht von Kinder und Kindskinder, gesunde Eid und freiliche Eid. So gerne gegen Mashiach Tzidkenu.
Amen.
Shakol Tov, good night.
Yeah,